the situation here is not the best. The tidal waves, there are portions of the remnants of what has happened over the past 24 hours is clearly evident here in Jita. It's as I speak to you, residents are counting their losses moments after, or days or hours after this actually transpired.
Going through all this settlement, one thing stands out. Those who are affected badly, especially those at the southern part of the road or the towns, the current call is relocation. Before the relocation, I think government must intervene quickly, especially NADMO, to come to the aid of the people. That they fashion out some things for them to live on, and especially they must give some beddings for them, so that they will be able to work on those things for them. I think that one will work for now.
This is the Fuvema Basic School. About 6 years ago, we were told that it was not located at its present place where we can find it. Even as we speak, it still has clear signs of destruction. It is, as we speak, not in the best of shapes, obviously affected by the tidal waves that came in last night. It's been a perennial problem, but we can see its impact currently on set. I'm told that 6 years ago, the basic school, which serves the residents of this community, was not located here, but it was consumed, eating away by the sea, and that is why it was relocated to this present place. But today, school activity has been brought to a standstill because of the nature of destruction. And I would in a bit engage the headmaster of this institution, of this school, who would tell me how much of a problem this tidal wave that came in the last 24 hours and the impact that it's had on the residents, and of course the students as well.
There is no school. There is no classroom for the children to get in. So the children are just stranded. We can't do any academic work today. Not even today. Henceforth, children don't have classrooms to stay in. Yes. But we managed to get the Form 3s a place whereby they can do their revision for next week to start their exams.
What are your expectations going forward, looking at how much of a problem this is to the academic environment in this community generally?
Really, the school, this is the second place. It was relocated to this place about 6 years now. And in actual fact, the children over here, they do perform very well. But because of the distraction of this tidal waves, performance is no longer going on, because the thing is coming gradually, and today's one is very, very effective. Yes.
So what would be your plea?
Oh, actually, my appeal is that if you look around, you see that the whole area is affected by the sea. So, in fact, if they can be relocated to another place altogether, I think that will help.
But let us get a first-hand feel of the impact of the tidal waves in this area. The Fuvema Basic School serves students in this community. Now I have two final year students here, Theodore and Vivian, and they would actually tell me what the impact of this academic work is, on what the impact of the tidal waves, how it is affecting them as they prepare for their final examination.
It has destroyed a lot of things. Even it has destroyed our studies, which make us not to study. The examiners who have said the question did not know whether we are in trouble or not. The sea waves destroys everything. Even since last week, we did not study anything. That is what is happening to us.
We don't have any class to study in, so we are pleading that if they could help us for this 1 week, then it will be okay for us because we will be going to write our BC the next week. But as we can see now, the sea is affecting our academic work. Our buildings are collapsed. We don't have any place to study.
So this is the situation here. Very devastating. The impact at the Fuveme Basic School in the Anglo constituency within the Angloga district of the Volta region. Devastating impact has affected communities' homes, has affected the basic school here that serves residents in communities, and the students here who have just about 6 days to write their BEC are calling for at least an interim arrangement to get them to focus on the exams, which is just a few days away.
So the immediate decision we are taking now is to get some relief item for them first, but at the end, the school area to where we are, you know that our students don't have a place now because the classroom block they are using, all of them are gone. So as Assembly or Educational Oversight Committee Chairman, we want to relocate our JHS 3 students to a nearby school, that is at Titi. They have a lot of classroom there, so that at the end, the teachers at Fuveme, they will be teaching them there so that they will go and write their final exam. Concerning the other school students, we are going to look for another place so that we create a shed for them also, so that they can also continue with their education.
That's the owner of the house, and he's obviously very unhappy, signaling to us the impact of the tidal waves on his home, at his residence. It's one that really words cannot describe. It's devastating, very devastating. That is actually the remnant of the bag and his belongings here. And this is one that I cannot imagine how the owner of this property is going to put himself back together after the serious devastation that's actually involved in this. So this is a classic case of what happens with residents in this community and how this is actually affecting them.
5 a.m. Sunday morning by our security guy, who thankfully had come and informed us at the right time. So we had to evacuate these 2 rooms. We had paying customers in here, which is obviously slightly traumatic for them, I think. And the rooms were then flooded. Half our restaurant as well is flooded. It's caused quite a lot of damage, so we just now have to wait for the water to recede, and then we can assess how we rebuild.
What is the occupancy here, and how is this affecting the business in terms of the cost that will be involved in putting back this place into its correct shape for business to continue?
Yeah, so we have 9 rooms that we book out, and we're pretty much fully booked all the time, especially at the weekends. So 9 rooms, they're all varying in price from 400 CDs down to 180 CDs. And then there's food, there's drinks, there's activities that support other local businesses. So it's not just us that are impacted by Meet Me There being closed. As I said, once the water recedes, we're fairly confident that we can get things open again for next weekend. That's our target.
The plan going forward, let me say long-term plan, there should be a sea defense to protect the people along the coast. Secondly, if resettlement can be done, that would also go a long way to solve the problem. But the issue is, would the people be willing to be resettled? Because I interviewed some few people if resettlement will be an option for them. They said no, because they've lived here for years, and then fishing is their profession. If the resettlement will not push them to where they will get access to their occupation, it will be a bit of difficulty for them. So I would suggest to government to find a lasting solution so that the livelihood of the people too will not be affected.
Water is at my feet level, and it typically tells us the situation along the shoreline in the Volta region. Earlier, the team visited the Anglo constituency, where we spoke to residents of Jita, Anyanui, as well as Fuvema. The situation is no different here at Kejikope, also located in the Keta municipality, where residents, as well as the Member of Parliament and the Municipal Chief Executive, have been telling us what their issues really are.
Based on the incident, you can see it ravages through 3 constituencies, Anglo, Keta and Ketu South. And then when you look at the communities precisely in Keta, we are currently in Kejikope, and then you can see how the tidal wave have ravaged the whole place, have displaced close to about 3,000 people. And then as I speak, over 300 people are displaced households. They no longer have a house. We have to even keep shelter some of them in a uncompleted community center we are building through MP Common Fund, and then some of them house them in the schools around this place. So this is the situation currently we are facing. And then when you look at the impact, it hardly hits the Kejikope, Abuchakope, Jelukope, Tetevikope, and then Keta Central in the Keta constituency. Those are the communities that are the tidal wave have hit them hard in the. And then because our people, they are fishermen, and they live along the coast. That is why their livelihood depends on. That is why they get their daily bread to feed their family. So when you are evacuating them, you have a lot of costs. If you calculate the cost in terms of economic terms, it will be higher than putting up second phase of Keta Sea Defense Project.
In the interim, what we've seen here?
For an interim, people have lost their homes, some foodstuffs and things, and then looking at the sea, they can't go to fishing. So we are calling on the central government for urgent. It's an urgent issue we are talking about, to give them some relief package, like in terms of food, shelter, foams, blanket, and then some items that they can put some structures to be temporary structures.
Usually, when it's coming to destroy, it comes from beneath. I don't know how it does it, but and before you realize, then you see that water has risen up to your bed, and then the waves then follow, and then my people called me around 10, so I have to move in. When I came, I realized the impact, so we moved some of them to the community center, where they are seeking shelter for now. But now we may not blame anybody, because we all know sea level has risen from international news. Therefore, what we are pleading for now is the security of the women, children, and the schools, and everybody involved.
Yesterday I was in bed, and one of my members called me that the seawater is coming, so I have to rush down. Within 15 minutes, the place is full. So yesterday, I don't know what to do. Our things went inside the water, so we have to find a way to pack them, a lot of things. So yesterday too, we didn't have church in the premises, because the premises is full with water. So we have to go to the community center and have our prayers there. And after that, we are expecting that something may happen.
The state of emergency should have been done yesterday. When you saw people's condo and compounder in the seawater on the streets, that's when you should have declared the state of emergency. That's when you get in your vehicles and you come here and you commiserate to the people and you give them hope. That's what you do. That's what you do. You don't ignore them. How many times haven't you heard me speaking about the closure of the border and its effect on the people? How many times haven't I spoken about what the sea is doing? Force majeure versus taking a decision to punish people.
What do you think can be done to find a lasting solution to the problem here? Obviously, this is very depressing, to say the least.
By this morning, as was done elsewhere, some big pots should have been on some fire, and we are stirring food, and we are packaging, and we are giving them food, and we are giving them water. That is what you do under a crisis. Who have you seen here? Everybody comes and we come and speak English and we leave. And we leave the people traumatized, hopeless and helpless. Why? Is this a war zone? Is this a war zone? Is this a war zone? Will you treat refugees like this? We are citizens of this country. What should have been happening here is seeing trucks bringing food, bringing blankets, bringing anything to alleviate the suffering and lessen the pain. The trauma of losing your home. The trauma of losing your home. Why?